Welcome back to the Chancellor Cast. Today we're going to be talking to Haggly from Norfthorn, going over the incomplete history of Norfthorn. Part 1. There will be a part 2 in the future, but Haggly's not going to be the one going over that. At the moment, we're waiting for Haggly to join us, but until then, I thought I would just go ahead and give a brief to everybody about some stuff I've been working on over here behind the scenes. I have been working on writing the Chancellor's Tower. I don't know if you guys remember it, but a while back, we had a plan for a potential Chancellor's Hands TV show, where it was basically the Chancellor's Hands running around the tower, getting up into no good plans and stuff. Well, I've actually officially started writing the scripts for the episodes, and with the new Chancellor's Hands having such a big population, I'm going to be pulling the Chancellor's Hands from the new Chancellor's Hands directly for the cast for anybody who wants to participate. So, that's going to be a fun time. Also, I am working on something I like to call the Red Album. It's essentially going to be a bunch of cartoony villain songs that are just going to be covered with some slightly changed lyrics, but they're going to be in a giant album called the Chancellor's Red Album. And so I've been working on that. You're Only Second Rate, the song that I released recently, that's going to be on the album, along with a few others that aren't going to be released until the album pops. So, at the moment, I have a list of 13 songs lined up, but it may or may not shrink or grow depending on what we're looking at. From other news, talking about, the Chancellor and all things Chancellor, Ashburn's been growing. We've gotten increase in activity and population, as well as we have more lawn space now. We're getting rid of the green grass and we're putting in the netherrack. So if any of you guys decide you want to help out by replacing grass with netherrack, so that way, we can make the Chancellor feel at home, because he's from the Nether. He's not. He's not from the overworld. He's not used to all of the green, lush grass. He wants that out. So, if you want help, just start uprooting grass within the area of the tower, replacing it with netherrack, and then people can go back over it and use bone meal to put in red mycelium, just to kind of get the red glow that we're used to. Alright, so, and with that, that's basically all I have as far as the news update on Ashburn and my projects. Going over to just Stoneworks news in general, the hands got their official, or the old hands that turned into the new hands, got an official rot warning. The legs got a rot warning. I have to say congratulations to them. They've done a good job making sure everybody is miserable. Even though the Chancellor looks at them from afar and a single tear drops from his eyes, thinking of what could have been, he's still proud of them, because they've made playing on Rathnir a living hell for some people, and the Chancellor loves that shit. So, just give a round of applause to the hands for getting rotted. We'll see them off of a salute, and who knows who will take their place. The power vacuum's going to be huge, so we'll keep our eyes peeled for the potential next contender. And with that being addressed, there are also rumors of a new war system coming about. I think it's King of the Hill. We don't know when that's going to be implemented. I heard it's been really laggy, a little bit a little bit not working. But that could just be because the server's lagging and not working. The plugin might be fine, but we'll see when that comes about. I think King of the Hill will be a huge change in the power dynamics, because like cat blocks and stuff is completely different than King of the Hill, especially the strategy that's being used right now by a lot of the hands, which is basically just spam cat blocks. Like it's a spam cat block meta. So, uh, yeah. I mean, and with that, we can go ahead and get into the actual meat of this. Where's Haggly? There you are. Haggly, are you able to unmute?
Yeah.
Hey, there you are. Let me check your audio really quick. Say something.
Hello.
I'm gonna bump you up just a little bit.
All right.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
So Haggly, how long have you been leading Norfthorn?
Consecutively, or there's still a couple down periods. That's I've had.
Yeah, I
But,
mean, just kind of overall though, because we know that you've always had your hand over Norththorn. You know, it's
yeah.
it's your baby. It's like, you know,
Yeah. My only true child.
exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
when was the Turtle War video uploaded again?
Oh, sheesh, that was before I joined. That
Yes, I
yeah, no,
joined
that
like
was a
2
long
weeks
time ago.
after
That
that, but
was
yeah, like
I
2020, 2021, something
September
like that.
2020,
September 2020. Yeah, so I joined in like late or like mid-December
mid
of
December.
2020. Yeah, so 3 years. Pretty much 3 years if I'm planning to leave on December fully. Yeah, so total of 3 years in power.
That's
Which
that's
yeah, I
honestly
think it's the
that's
longest.
pretty
It's the
insane.
longest on Stoneworks.
Yeah, no,
But I don't know
that
if it's
has to be
counted
one of the
consecutively.
yeah, that has to be one of the longest power reigns on Stoneworks,
Yeah.
being basically like the
Mm.
controller over a nation for that
Yeah, but
period of
Northern was
time.
disbanded like 2 times, so I don't know if that like cuts it up
I mean, you
to different
disbanded, but I
periods.
mean, like everyone was there and you reformed. Like I'd count it. It's like not counting
Yeah.
Bardonia being there. The amount of times Bardonia is disbanded and come back, like
Yeah,
nobody counts
true.
it as like Bardonia actually being gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, like a singular ruler. I don't know if my period as a ruler is counted when only and straws were in power, for example.
Gotcha.
Obviously, they had a step I didn't do much, but yeah,
Well, I
it's
like
like
to think they did. I like to give you credit
I
for it.
also like to think they did. I also like to think they did. I would like to keep my title of longest ruling monarch or ruler on the server for as long as I can.
Yeah, and I don't
It
think
would be
anyone's
fun.
gonna question you
Mm,
on that.
they better not.
So when when did it start? Like
Uh,
Norththorn. If I remember,
mm,
you weren't the founder, were you?
I was.
You were. Okay.
I
So
was.
okay. So from the ground up, what was Norththorn, and what was your vision of what Norththorn might be?
Well, Northor was made up on another server actually. It was made by one of my friends when I played a lot of Star Wars Gmod RP.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was probably like 3 years ago. Like I pretty much left that to join Stoneworks because they were both really time consuming and I couldn't have both. And I already
Yeah.
got kind of tired of it. So kind of similar like but it was a lot smaller and controlled player base. It was like just invite only. So I made the name up there, and I got the basic idea of like a Viking style nation, or Scandinavian to be more exact, even though my capital was just a blob of cobblestone.
So
So that's where I got
you're
the
going
idea
for a
from.
Viking inspired nation. Like were you
Scandinavian, not
Scandinavian?
Viking.
Gotcha.
I used the Viking for marketing purposes,
All right,
because saying
gotcha.
Scandinavian sounds a lot more boring than Viking.
So were you
Mm.
planning to do anything with like naval or boats? Because I'm pretty sure you're
Yes,
secluded from the sea though, aren't you?
not at first. We had actually two ports back in the day when I ruled half of Sutor. So it was just me. It was just me, to be honest. Me and one of my mates who stopped
Yeah,
playing
no, you just
a
basically
long time
just
ago.
claimed, that this is our areas.
Yes, yes, but that was when Siltor was pretty much Terra Nullius, so it was all free to go.
Yeah, there's nobody in
So
there.
we had two ports. Yeah, yeah. In the east, I had got like a 10 players to settle there. They were just like a friend group. They
Hmm.
didn't really do much there. They wanted to set up like a Japanese style town. I was like, all right, fine. I just need players. So
Yeah.
they set up there, and then Reska got disbanded. Like before, Areska was called Areska. The castle, like in the south eastern portion of Northern now, or
Hmm.
Prollins. The original claimants just up and disappeared. They had two towns and two players. We split it up with all in all. They got the town on the other side of the river, and I got the castle. And that was supposed to be like the port town. Of course, that didn't quite work out. Mm.
Gotcha. So, the port town was actually supposed to be a city on the river.
Uh, kind of, yeah.
Gotcha. So, what happened to that city? Like, since
Reska.
then? Yeah.
Hemo S4, Hemo S401 happened. I didn't
I'm.
have it. I literally I had two players. It was me and my mate. My mate already had a claim, and I
Mhm.
already had claim, and not the Northern City. So I just said that the castle was mine and told nobody to claim it.
Yeah.
Then Hemo claimed it. So that happened, and then he just said, "Yeah, it's mine," and I really couldn't do much. So I tried negotiations, but it didn't really work out because I had no way to enforce it with two players.
I mean, yeah. I
And
mean,
that,
that's
yeah.
pretty valid. So,
Mm.
what about? Let's go ahead and rewind a little bit from there. So you started out having. You said you had about 10 players who had kind of like a Japanese
Yeah, but
like
they were
city.
entirely different. Yeah, they were entirely different. They didn't even join the server or anything. Like only their leader joined my server, like the
Gotcha.
Northern server. So yeah, and they actually didn't do shit. They had one building, which was shit.
They all just lived out of one building and called it a town.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that was a lot of
But
early stoneworks, though, if you remember.
yeah, yeah, it was. But yeah, but I didn't spawn in Soto to begin with. Actually, it's it's an entirely chance that I ended up in the place where I ended up in because when I spawned. I don't remember where I spawned, but I do remember finding a massive tundra where Tortuga set up sometime later. And yeah, Tortuga. What was the empire before them? Like the fucking Russian-inspired nation.
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's
Yeah, there
it's
was like
been way too long.
in the bottom right corner there was also the big
The
fucking empire that
UBSR?
fell apart. UBSR probably, yeah, UBSR, yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
those were the guys when I went down there and I was torturing them for blowing up their Astarock back in the day.
yeah, so I actually set up there before they came in. Like they came like 2 weeks later. But I was like, this is boring. It was just flat ground. There were no
Hmm.
mountains or anything asymmetrical about it. It was really boring. So I just randomly teleported somewhere. I don't know if that command's still like slash wild or
Yeah,
slash
slash
spawn or
wild. Yeah, it's
something.
still active.
Yeah, slash wild. So I just used that and I spawned at the foot of the mountain that Norththorn City is now set up on just entirely by accident. It was the
You
perfect
just
spot for
slash
a
wilded
capital.
there, looked at it, and you're like, okay,
Yeah,
I can work with
yeah,
this. This is less boring.
yes, I can work with this. Yeah, yeah. I was like, all right, this is good, and entirely by chance. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
then I just sit there.
that's
Yeah,
legit. So
mm.
it just you just happened to go there just to get out
Yeah,
of boring old tundra.
yeah. It was really boring. I did see like a nice spot, but it was like 10,000.
So you were
Then I
saying
just
that you
teleported.
wanted the nation to be kind of like Scandinavian. What about like
Yeah.
when did you start to develop like any kind of like culture or religion in Norththorn? Was that ever a thing?
Oh, yeah. There's a religion, and there's the original Norse culture, which had two different sections: the woodlands people and the wood people. and then the mountain people.
So what's the
Uh,
difference between the wood people and the mountain people?
it was just like there was a civil war between two clans. They set up in different regions until I came and unified the nation into one.
Gotcha. So you unified them,
Yeah, I
but
unified them.
so what's the difference between the two cultures of the woodland people and the mountain people? I mean,
Uh,
obviously they're living
the
conditions,
yeah,
but
yeah. Well, oh God, I can't really remember. They were actually like two sub races. Like the
hmm
mountain people, they were a bit bigger. They were much more airier, and they resembled more like dwarves. They were a bit, yeah.
kind
They
of like
were like
giant dwarves.
yeah, giant dwarves, which I think that's they shut each other out to categories dwarves and giants. But yeah, that was basically different. And then the other ones, they were much more slimmer and nimble. Then they resembled more like the basic elves,
Yeah,
which actually came in quite clutch because all in all, an elven nation set up, so there was some crossbreeding possibilities there.
gotcha.
So there was, yeah,
So the
yeah,
woodland people were basically elves, and then the mountain people were basically giant dwarves.
yeah, like
I like the
slightly
concept of
bigger
I
humans.
like the concept of
Yeah,
giant dwarves. They're basically just like
yeah,
big, bulky people. I love it.
yeah. And that came up after I got my actual players, two two people, Adimor and I believe it was his like little brother or like cousin or something who came up. They built one castle on one mountain, and then I gave them their own town, and then I needed to make up a law for them, so I just made up the two warring like families, the Longshlets, which I'm from, and the green green breads, like bread, the food, green bread, so moldy bread.
Did any religion
Yeah.
originate outside
Uh,
of Norththorn
inside,
or
yeah,
inside
there
of
was,
Norththorn? My bad.
yeah, inside, yeah. Oh, it's been so long since I read the law page. It might have been deleted actually. But yeah, there was like a animalist religion. We had different animals. The forest people worshipped foxes, and the mountain people the Norththorn chicken, which was a massive war chicken that they would ride into battle.
So you're telling me there were giant dwarves riding giant chickens?
Yes. Sadly, we could never
what
get an
what a
actual giant
concept.
chicken. Right. It was quite weird, yeah. But that was the basic idea. It was kind of fun. I also had a giant serpent that's a serpent skeleton that I would have built underneath the castle. It never came into fruition, sadly.
What was it just like was it just a skeleton or did it have like an actual
Yes, the
like
skeleton. It would have had actual lore, but I couldn't really make up one. Maybe it could have been like a turtle that just started to rest and then died, and that's why the Northern Mountain is so secluded from any other bigger mountain range.
that makes a lot of sense.
Actually, yeah. Actually, there's some quite cool lore. Not like that. I could still implement like legends and stuff
hmm
into that. Are you drawing a chicken now?
I'm trying to. It looks more like a duck.
Yeah. Uh. So yeah. Uh. Do you have any other questions, or do I just ramble on?
So, you can just go ahead and ramble on. Why don't we just get into the history of it? Just,
Mm.
you know,
Like
just
history, the actual history of what happened, and not just the stuff I came up with.
well, why not both? Why don't you give
Very
me the what happened and then go over the lore of what was going on in that time period?
Oh, okay. Hmm. Well, the
This is
very
a
first
duck. I'm
diplomatic.
sorry. I'm drawing a duck.
Okay. Yeah, so the very first diplomatic connections I got was with All in All. Uh, so I didn't actually quite remember what happened. I just probably was looking into Dynamap and saw that Coffee had made up her claim, and
hmm
I just like sent her a message and I could, would you, could I come and visit or something? And then I just came in and visited and talked to her a bit. She showed me around and showed me her plans for the city and all that stuff. It was quite neat. She had a much nicer city planned than I did. Just doing stuff, building walls out of cobbles.
Mm-hmm.
He had an actual plan and actual players at one, and actual players that could help her. So I was kind of jealous. So I made up war plans to destroy it.
So you're planning to
Ne-
destroy Arlenor?
yes, before it began. This might come as a bit of a shock to Coffee if she listens to it, but it never came to fruition because I came to realize that there's actually no fucking reason why he should try and attack all in all, because they made such a good ally for such a long time. But yeah, there was also a time when, just jumping ahead, one only wanted to actually destroy them, attack all in all, and I just said no. So yeah, I've also helped all in all out a bit. So it's not just me being benevolent. Well, like that, I could have done anything actually because they were much bigger than I was.
Yeah, I mean
I,
you had like two people. No offense, Haggly, but
yeah, 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 yeah. And they had like 11 at the time. Pretty much the same that Andorn did when they were like just in city states. I still remember like they just had one city and it was like the City of the Sun or like Suntown or something like that. So I don't remember exactly the
I
name.
think I remember which one you're talking
Mm,
about.
yeah, but it was such a long time ago. So, but I was before Northorn became like a peaceful hermit kingdom. I did have plans. Well, we did have an empire pretty much. Like we controlled half of Sulta, so there were actual plans on establishing towns in that area. But I was never able to get enough players. I did get players, but they always left like after 2 weeks. Probably because I didn't have a good plan to engage them in the nation. I just told them to build a house somewhere, and they never did. Mm.
Yeah, the old figuring out what
Mm,
to do with the new player.
yeah,
Yeah.
and to be honest, I Northern really didn't get players until Only showed up. Like it was pretty much me the entire time until that point. There was small times when I did have like uh 10, 11 players. Like I remember this one time I had a quite good group of like mates. It were me, AD, his cousin or little brother, a dude called Buster with a B, who got later banned for X-Ray. Uh, yeah, that. Then there was Mathology, and his brother also, like six of us that I remember by name. And we just fished like a lot and we just mined a lot. And then we just made trips into Sultor a lot. Like that's the term that I most fondly look at when I reminisce of the times I have
Just
spent in
all of the
Stoneworks.
original times you were
Yeah.
when you were just fishing, mining, and just having a good time with you and your pals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like we were just basically playing normal Minecraft, and so like in Stoneworks, it wasn't really anything big. Uh, yeah, it was really fun.
Sounds
But
like
yeah,
it. It
but back
reminds
to
me
the
of
actual story.
original Bardonia, who kind of did the same thing. We were just basically
Mm,
a bunch of goons who were just running around, enchanting, fishing, mining, just playing stoneworks. None of the stuff that's like meta today in the current
mm.
stoneworks, which is less plain stoneworks.
Well, to be honest, you also were good at PvP, which none of us were, so you could actually
Well,
do
I
shit.
wasn't good at PvP. I've never been good at PvP. You're talking about
Oh.
Zexus and Hub. They were the big PvPers in Bardonia.
Yeah, back to the hub. Yeah, like, I remember Hub was like the biggest name on the block when it came to PvP for a long time.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then he kind of
it's
just
really fun.
disappeared.
Yeah, well.
So, what
Yeah.
happened next?
Well, after I met Coffee,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't really much going on. There was the big expansion that I did eastward. Then Andon started to claim more land, and they wanted to buy stuff from us. I declined. Then they stole Oreska from us, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Uh, then the 10 players in the eastern part, they became inactive. Then Ryzens showed up. I remember when the first Ryzenis came over, they were like 40, 50 people, which was like 50% of the player population. They pretty much doubled the entire acting population when they first joined in. And they were saying that they came from like an anarchy server.
I
And they said
remember
that
that.
if their demands were not met, they would call in another 40 really good anarchy PvPers
I don't know if you
who would just
remember, but
come
that
in and
never
grind in.
happened.
Yeah, that never happened, but I remember them saying that they could. But was it Cat Toss the first leader's name, or like Coin Toss or something like that?
It was wasn't it Canadian? Canadian toss?
Yeah, they were Canadian Toss. Yeah, Canadian Toss.
Yeah.
So, uh, because they like spawned in right in the middle of me and I think the very first Bardonian like state, they were really crammed in. So they wanted more land because they couldn't really expand anywhere. So they came to me and they said, "Hey, that Canadian to us being a Canadian, who was really nice. He said, "Hey mate, we would like to buy some land from you, like this eastern portion. How much would you be willing to sell?" And then we just struck up a deal, and I got 175,000 out of selling like a relatively small piece of land. Quite a bit, quite a bit more what I got from my rescue was for like 17,000. Being a strategic port town was just merely humiliating, losing a rescue to Emo. But yeah, I sold the. Uh, I can't remember the name of the land, but I sold a portion of land to Ryzen, which I think they still hold to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and pretty much they built like one of their biggest town in it, I believe. So yeah,
Do you know
Ryzen can
like what
thank me.
section of land it was that you sold?
There was like a mountain range, and I sold everything east of it.
Did you sell them the land that they built Volkergrad in?
Probably, yeah. I think Volkograd was like in it. At least it's most of Volkograd is in it and in it now. I think. So yeah, to be honest, I would have sold it for probably very little because they did Canadian. I remember kind of remember he did say that if we didn't strike up a deal, he would probably be pressured to attack Northern, and I knew like okay, they have
So
like
we
40,
got
50 players.
so
So I
you know
could.
coming from the other side of the range because Ryzan was
Mm.
sandwiched between us.
Mm.
They were saying the exact same thing to Bardonia. They were saying that if we didn't sell them our land, because I don't know if you remember, but old Bardonia was very pacifist, very nice, and
I
we
do
had
remember like the first Empire was like they didn't really do much. You had just stayed in your own territory collecting dandelions.
yeah, no, that was literally all we did, and there was no
Mm.
plans on expanding the land. There was no expansion plans, and I don't know if you remember,
Yeah.
but even going into the Second Republic, we didn't even expand. We didn't try pushing our borders. We literally just sat in what was ours.
Mm. Yeah, it was like when the first Empire like, or the third Republic came around when you became expansionist, you pretty much conquered the entirety of Sultor. Or
Yeah,
was it like
that.
the third Empire? But it's the first Empire because I was
Well, that was at
yes, it
the
was the
end. I
first
don't know if you
Empire that
remember
was
the end of the Second Republic when we started going for the world conquest and then collapsed because of it.
yeah, probably. I remember that you pretty much subjugated the entirety of Sultor, me with it, like this one Northern with
You
it.
you were cool with it, and I mean, I explained to you what was going on, and like
Well,
you
I
know,
couldn't do much. You said either you join us and we leave you be, or you get conquered and fuck you. So it wasn't like much we could do. But
yeah,
yeah, I
but
didn't really. To
I
be honest, it
did.
was more a boon.
I don't know if you
It was
remember, but I also explained to you that we weren't gonna keep you. Like it wasn't gonna be like a thing, where you're like
Yeah, I do
restrained.
remember that. I do remember that.
It's just
Yeah.
gonna be,
Uh,
this is what we're doing. These are our goals. We're not gonna like fuck around with you. We just need you to agree to this. Otherwise, we're gonna have to take you by force.
yeah, I do remember that. That I was promised pretty much freedom at some point, and I'm pretty sure that at one point I just said, "Yeah, bros, I'm leaving," and he didn't do much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
But to be honest,
that was near the end. That was like right before we
yeah,
collapsed.
yeah, yeah. I saw the banners weren't flying. No, they're flying atop Durasa for much longer, so I had to make my way
So,
out.
so Ryzan moves in, starts demanding you money. Starts demanding land. They pay you some money. You sell some land.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what goes on after that?
Well, after that, I joined Bardonia. That's the thing I remember somewhat. Actually, no, there was the Takumakan Empire actually
Oh, I remember
before
them.
that, and the first Northern Council, uh, and Yeetus Christ also. That my only spouse that I've ever had on the server. He were like really it was just like him and his mate too. Like I actually at that point I had like 4 or 5 players active, which was the most I would probably have ever until Only came up. So we formed the first Northern Council, and or was it actually after the first like your first world conquest, the first Bardonia world conquest? Uh, no, it was after. Yeah, it was after. So that thing was around for some time, and then Andorn left, which basically just spelled the end of the entire thing. I don't remember much about the partition of Takumakan because that was with Ryzen.
Mm-hmm.
But Solana got the lion's share of it. And after that, I became a vassal of Bardonia. I fought in that one small battle in which I did absolutely nothing, and for some reason, Bardonians still love me to the, to this day when I
Because
fought
the
that
thing
one
is,
little
we
battle.
forced. It was the concept. We forced you to join us. You were like,
Mm,
okay, and then you were the only person out of everyone that joined us to pull up and help defend Bardonia. It was like
yeah.
that. It was like, I guess it was like the sense of honor that you had. You honored your word to show up and to
Um,
become a part of us, and even though like the circumstances, you shouldn't have pulled up. You should have been like, you deal with this. You're the ones going around like conquering people. But you were a good lad. You pulled up, and none of the Bardonians ever forgot about that.
yeah, well, I'm gonna spill the beans. I was just really fucking bored. That's like, to be honest, it's such a good period.
The only
I
reason you
like
pulled
one
up
decent.
to
I was
defend
really fucking
Arastarock
bored.
was because you were bored.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, that doesn't. Yeah, but I think I didn't really understand the concept. Like the first time I heard that from like Crazy, that
Hmm.
uh, when he said, "Yeah, we're not going to do anything about Northern because you helped defend Durasok," I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that small skirmish had so much of an effect on our relations going forward." Because I was just bored, and I saw some people talking about the battle at Durasok, and I was like, "Oh, that's the Bardonian capital. Maybe I should go in. I'm kind of bored, and I know I'm their vassal, so maybe I should do something."
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
you're
I have
you're remembered in
one
Bardonian
decent piece of
history for
armor.
it.
Yeah, I have one decent piece of armor. If I lose it, then fuck it. I came in. I came in. I saw a couple TNTs went off. I hit an invisible player once, and then I stole all your stuff from one chest, and then I put it up in Norththorn City, and then you came up to pick it up like 2 weeks later,
Sounds
or
about right.
some. Or was it? Yeah, or was it crazy? I don't remember. It was actually quite garbage what we had in there. It was not much. It was like one power one. It was like a power one bow. Was all that important it had. But yeah, I just picked it up because I saw a bomb explosion. I didn't want you to lose anything important there. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to pick this up. Notify if you want to pick it up. If you don't, I will just use them myself. Um, so yeah, uh, after I left the Bardonian, was it the first Bardonian Empire or the
That was the
Second
second.
Republic? The
That was
Second
the that
Republic.
was that was the Second Republic.
Yeah, after I left the Second Republic, that pretty much immediately, because Andorn, I think they left a bit before me. Pretty much right after they pulled up, like Hemo pulled up, like, "Hey, Haggly, we want." to annex you entirely, and then the only Hissifus I've thrown on the server I threw that day, and I was going, fucking hell. Well, because I couldn't really do much. I tried to put up a defense. I could put up like 11 people.
Mm-hmm.
Takamakin was still around at that point. Yeah, Takamakin was still around, so all in all was ready to pull up and all that. But then everything just fell apart because like Crow lost the king of Takamakin lost like support in his own country and shit. So then I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm done with this server. Goodbye. Left for 3 months. Dotto contacted me like, hey, we regret what happened with Hemo, and he also feels kind of bad. So then he gave me back some land, and I was like, all right, well, I can deal with this. I can work with this. Uh,
So
didn't
there
give me
was a
back a
small
rest though.
period where Norththorn was just gone.
Yes, it was a small period when Northern was gone. Uh, but yeah, then pretty much right after I just contacted Coffee and said, "Hey, I want to become a tributary state with no tribute, so just a vassal. I just wanted the protection because all my friends had
Mm-hmm.
left the server, and I had at this point I had literally 0 people. Adimor, the leader of the Woodlands people, came back, and well, yeah, he still played every once in a while. He was also like the kind of guy that just showed up for like from 2 weeks to like 3 months, and then he just dipped for like another month or two, and then came back for like another set period of time. But he was a nice lad. He didn't really talk much, but he built a nice little town. I really liked it. The town, the God, I can't even remember the name of it anymore. But yeah.
Get
Then I was part of yeah.
Getting a little bit off subject. I have to ask.
Yeah.
You're I'm drawing your Minecraft skin, and you kind of look like a
Yes.
wizard. Was there any
Yes.
kind of magic in Norththorn,
Not really. No.
or was
It
it
was
just
just
like?
a
Was there any magic in your character lore? Like I'm just curious.
No, there wasn't any magical planned about me. The way my skin came up was, do you know this game series called Magica?
Yes.
So I loved the second game, so I just made my skin based off of that, and that's how it came to be.
Makes sense.
It doesn't really resemble it
Anything
anymore.
with
That's what,
Norththorn or your character, it's mostly just you like Magica too.
yeah, I like Magica too, so that's entirely my skin. It has taken a bit of a character of its own nowadays, though. It doesn't look entirely. It didn't used to have those massive red eyes, which I think helped at least a bit of forming the innocence and chill vibe I had going on. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, I really like my skin. I'm really proud of it.
All right. Sorry, I
Mm.
just had to ask about the skin. Anyways,
Yeah,
continue.
there was nothing magical about it. So yeah, then I still after like 2 months when Dotto gave me back the land or some of it, I still like took another 5 months off, or like something like a month off, and then I was like, okay, I want to. I realized that I can't really do much as part of all in all, because I want to do, because I like the diplomacy part the most. I want to talk to people
Hmm.
because I was quite low. Asked Coffee nicely, hey, could I leave? She was not really uh well, not yeah, she wasn't nice about it, but she let me leave because we were got quite good mates at that point already. So then she was like, okay. Then Northern became independent. After I became independent, Dotto gave me a bit more land. Actually asked Dotto to give me a bit more land in the east because the border was really wonky and really hard to read. So he was like, all right, can arrange, and then he gave me some land back, which is really nice. Orlano also had gone and won a war against Andorn and given me the western portion of Northern, which is now present. to this day, which has also proven to be the most active part. So thank you, Coffee, for that part. Um, yeah, what else? Yeah, so after that point, Buster with a B, the mate I talked about,
Hmm.
joined in. He was in Northern City was pretty much me, him, and the Mathology when he joined up a bit later on. And those two, it was during my summer break, so I was pretty much playing like 5 hours every day. That was the most active part when I also did most of my diplomacy. So and that's the fishing and mining part, and god damn it, I loved it. One time we went to Orleans capital, and uh, I think it was Matt who got stuck in like a tent built like on the outskirts, and we had to I had to send a DM to Coffee to ask for one of the people to let like one of my dudes out. It was really fucking funny because we were like standing there for like 20 minutes laughing at him while he was stuck in a tent. So um, that was kind of fun. It's just all the kind of little shenanigans you'd expect from like a group of like teenage boys.
Yeah, no, I definitely know the
Yeah,
shenanigans you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. That was like the little kind of shenanigans. I can't really remember much. There were like probably three other attempts to like form the fucking Sultor Alliance Nordic Council or whatever it has ever always been called. There were so many attempts, but none of them fucking stuck around. Either because of Bardonia and on Horizon usually. Yeah, because if one of the dudes if one fell, then pretty much the entire alliance just crumbled. And the big part also on them failing probably was like people had interest. They wanted to form an empire of some sort, and then the interest like didn't mix that well. Because some people were like me. I just wanted a peaceful place where we could all like, just like do some fun little RP shit, while some others wanted a world conquest and more centralized bureaucracy. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah. Well,
crazy.
Bardonia was really never part of many of them, and that was by design because Ryzen wouldn't join if Bardonia was part of it because you're like historical rivals. I was also always kind of mad when Andor was let in because I had beef with Andor still because they didn't give me back a rascal. So, um, yeah. Then after the summer went down and I went back to school, I became inactive again. I was quite inactive. I jumped in every once in a while to build some walls. Then only showed up. He said, "Okay, mate, you're kind of inactive. Do you want me to fix everything? You don't have to do much. I keep you informed." And I was like, "Okay, well, this seems like a good deal." And I took the deal. Shook the devil's hand, to be to say, so to say.
So did he keep? Would you say he kept his part of the bargain?
Yes, he absolutely did. He did keep the his end of the bargain. Every he's we had an agreement that if I didn't want something done, I would just say it to him, and he wouldn't do it. But there was also he did try and play off every once in a while. Like he didn't always keep me entirely informed, so he could get away with doing a lot more shit that I would have probably let him get away with.
Gotcha. So he
Uh,
tried to keep you out of the loop.
yes, every once in a while. If I asked for like, hey, what's going on, he did tell me, but he did like tell like white little lies every once in a while, and yeah, just like keep information from me. Which was really bad because I didn't have many connections around anymore, and because most of the people I knew were had already left, or or they just were useless to me at that point. But I still joined in a lot of negotiations. I still showed up here when the shit hit the fan and calmed everything down. Um,
Kind of
to be
like what
honest, I
happened
can't.
recently.
Yeah, yes, we're like what's just happening right now, but this is the last time. If you haven't read my RP post, go read it.
I have
Uh,
not, but you know what I
mhm.
will do? I will grab that RP post and I will slap it on the editing video screener right now for those people who want
Mm.
to read it.
So yeah, so and to be honest, I can't place just like one single event, and I don't really know what I have entirely done that has led me to have such a good reputation, especially with the old people, because I didn't really know if I talked that much like in chat.
You didn't, and I think that's why people
Yeah.
like you. You kept your mouth shut, you were always friendly, and you never really
Mm,
butted heads with anybody.
probably, yeah, but
But if you remember,
yeah.
back in the old day, everyone was ambitious. Everyone wanted a taste of the glory.
Mm.
Like, come on, like right after the Turtleodian video, like it was basically,
So that's what we do, yeah.
yeah, it was
Everyone
basically
wants to
like
become an empire.
everyone wanted it.
Yeah, everyone wanted to be the next Asharia. Yeah, I do remember that. I also was a big fan of Asharia for a long time. I like visited the capital like almost every day. So, for like a week. I never got in. They didn't let me in. At one point before the entire capital, of course, sunk. Uh, like the very first capital, I got in and they showed me around. I was like, "Wow, this is so fucking cool." I was fucking flabbergasted. And it was a really nice city. So it's a shame that they wanted to just put us under the sea.
Yeah, it really is a shame, but they brought it back out and they've done a bunch of work on it. But those really
Mm,
aren't the Asharians, they're more of just people filling in for the Asharians. Basically,
yeah.
most of the original Asharians are gone. Solienin is dwindling. I don't know if you've seen their numbers.
No, I don't really follow much
Yeah,
on the
Solienin, you
global scale
remember,
anymore.
you couldn't go anywhere back in the day without hearing about Solienin.
Yeah, they were. Everyone talked about them. Like they
Everyone
were
talked
the
about
power.
Solienin.
Yeah,
It was the biggest religion on the server. But yeah,
yeah.
their numbers are
I had
dwindling.
them was yeah.
And do you
Like
know
Twin
what is
Dragons was the
actually
resort for.
do you know what religion is actually approaching them?
No, it's the Yimordo
It's Dandalism.
religion. Vandalism. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Bardonia's original religion that wasn't a religion
Mm.
until like probably like a year ago.
Really, it's that early. Well, you did have more of a cult feel back in the day.
Yeah, the thing is like I'll be honest with you, like I don't think anyone really enjoyed like working on the religion part of Bardonia.
No, I don't think really. Probably with the exception of maybe Solianin and Coffee's Twin Dragon religion, I don't think there's that many people who like doing religion shit. It's quite
Yeah, I'm
boring.
pretty sure Twin
I
Dragon
had a
and
headache from the little lore I have about Norththorn. I had a headache about that and a migraine or two.
yeah, no,
It's
like
really hard
making the
to be
religion,
creative.
it's really difficult, especially for people who don't have the like drive to do it. Like me, I don't
Yeah.
care about religion at all. Like I'm not
Mm,
like a person who's like really interested in
mm,
different religions or want to develop one my own. I've always
mm.
been somebody who's more about like developing a culture or
Yeah.
or
I'm more
developing cities
yeah.
and lore.
I always I really like the politics of the server for like a long time. Now I absolutely abhor it. I can't stand like this fucking Minecraft politics.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so
no,
fucking
current
cringe.
politics are
It's
horrible.
fucking
I mean,
cringe.
politics back
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
day though, it was so much fun. But you know why I think it
yeah.
was so much fun? We
No,
nobody
show
knew
me.
each other
Oh, that's true.
and
Yeah,
nobody was
everyone has a
established.
reputation
Everyone
now.
was
Yeah.
new. You
Mm.
didn't know who the hell you were going to be talking to. You didn't know what
Yeah,
they had to
everyone's
offer. You
yeah.
didn't know what they were working on. You
You
would
didn't
come
really
across
even know
somebody
how
in the
strong they
wilderness.
were.
Turns out that they're like an emperor of like somewhere down in the south.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
I've
that's like
probably
the
been like
magic that
13
the
people
current
into it.
Stoneworks is missing. It's just, and the thing
Yeah,
is, you can't revive it.
it's too established. Yeah, it's too established.
Everything's too established now. You can't really revive
Yeah,
that. And even like making a
yeah.
new world, you're still gonna have the same player base. You're
Mm,
not gonna be
yeah,
able to, remake that unless like you
yeah,
just get
and
like a brand new player base.
mm, yeah, and the current system is also really bureaucratic because every single nook and corner of the world has been claimed by somebody or somebody else. Back when I joined, like half the fucking world was still, and there wasn't really a rush at the beginning to claim everything. There were actually calls to like keep some parts entirely unclaimed. Uh, of course, then the creep effect came in, and when one
Hmm.
nation near you claimed land, you had to also claim some part and maybe try and cut them off from claiming some part that you had maybe planned to claim on in the future when you get enough players. At least that's how I at first tried to do. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do medium or small size expansions to the west and the east to
So
maybe get like stuff.
I
And
originally like being in Bardonia and having an expansionistic mindset. I originally
mm.
said, let's go ahead and push into Siltor and just claim everything, like in between, set up small villages, and then talk to the other people and basically get them to join us because we'd
Yeah.
appear bigger on the map. And we have like 10 active players,
Yeah.
so if we all roll up there and ask them to join us, we have intimidation behind us, and if we're
Mm.
really friendly, we can show that we can protect them. So that was
Yeah.
my idea, but obviously we didn't go with my idea. We
Yeah.
went with
That
my
was
idea after Bardonia collapsed.
no.
So
Wait, what was the question? I probably missed it.
uh I don't think I asked a question. I think I was just telling you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So I think that's also why, for example, Ryzen was so like when Canadian first approached me, he was really wary about me because he probably thought like that I had like 50 people on my side, on my side as well because I ruled like half the fucking continent. So the deal he gave me was really generous. Like I said, it was like 175,000 or like 300,000, something like that. It was massive at that time, at least for me, like 300,000.
Hmm.
So I took it. I sold the land. Of course, once Andon found out that after they pretty well stole Reska, I found out, okay, well, Haggly can't do shit because he has zero players. We can just take everything we want from him. And at that point, I also realized, okay, if I want to do what I want to do, I can't be an expansionist empire because I don't really have the charisma to lure in a massive player base that could uphold such an empire. Only had that, and that's how we got most of our players. But I can't really do that, and I don't know, not that many players are probably, at least in the current landscape, like the idea of a pacifistic nation that's just built in a small territory without any plans for expansion.
So I actually just got really good news for you, Hagley, and I think you would like to hear.
Yeah, sure.
I just received word from one of my close friends who participated in your award today that you guys won by 30 points. In fact, you guys
Oh.
got 30 points and they got zero.
Which side? The loyalist, which War's side?
Uh, I, it's the side that is defending Norththorn.
Norththorn. Okay, because I'm currently negotiating with the other side. It's good that we won. I don't know. Could be a political miscalculation on my part, but to be honest, to be honest,
But I just
if
I just want you
Geo's
to
side,
know though.
if they use, yeah,
I
yeah,
just want you to know that this is the first win that I can think of where they've gotten no points against this
yeah, but
this group of
they've
people.
rolled over Asconia. Yeah, they've rolled over Asconia. Like in
Yeah,
two
but
battles, they lost like
that's the
14
thing. They
towns.
rolled over Asconia, but you 30 owed them, or Norththorn 30 owed them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well
Which,
that's at least a nice mark for the history books.
yeah,
So
no,
we do
that's
have some.
I
Well,
don't
that's
know if
something
they
to
were
roll.
pulling their punches because you guys already like talked it out and stuff.
We have a system already figured out. It's pretty much just until this battle is over,
Hmm.
and the war's pretty much gonna end because we already have a deal set up.
Yeah,
So they probably didn't like try, probably try give it their all.
that's fair, but I should just let you know
Mm.
that you guys definitely did good.
Yeah, good, good. But yeah, if Geo and the UCS side would have won, they probably would have tried to. At least I thought that they might use it as a bargaining chip to get maybe one more concession out of me. But if we, because now that we won, they don't get to have that bargaining chip. Like, hey, we won this side, we can continue fighting and winning. So
Yeah.
I think it's good that their progress was kind of a hold. Of course, it's a sad thing that Geo used like fucking millions to buy mercenaries and they lost 13-0.
I mean, in my opinion, I think it's a good thing, but that's just my
Well,
opinion.
I have to be a diplomat here, and I can't
I
be.
know you
Mm,
do, but I don't. So
at this point, we can do a follow up, and I can share my entire thoughts on the current situation after that. Make a small
after
follow
the
up.
matter,
Yeah,
yeah.
after December probably.
That
Um,
definitely sounds like a good idea.
yeah,
So that's where basically cut off though is like once you put only 100 in charge.
yeah,
That's basically when
yeah.
you got you were overseeing everything, but you
Yes, I was
weren't
overseas.
really involved and you weren't really updated
Yeah,
with all the events that happened during that
yeah.
time. That's when somebody like like Schwarzer would probably be better to explain what was going on then.
Probably yeah, but I can still share my side on
Yeah,
the entire
definitely.
situation. At least the small part that I remember about it. I at least during the first like 4 months or so of Only's reign, I was extremely active still. Like I still played
Hmm.
at least a couple times a week on Stoneworks, and I was quite active on Discord, and I was actively doing shit. It was pretty much only after Puedo left uh, that I also started to become a bit more inactive. Of course, my activity was periodical. Sometimes I was a lot more active, sometimes I was a bit less, sometimes I wasn't active at all. Because I also need breaks. This server is more of a job than it is a hobby at, at points. So, yeah, there were a lot of fights with those. We're going to sound like a fucking dysfunctional married couple here. Uh, well, that's pretty much how to sum up our relationship. I know that Oli was really hated and he did some really fucking malicious and bad shit. But overall, I have quite a positive feeling on Only, at least personally, on a personal level, that I got to talk with him. Like, he was actually quite a nice dude. And he was definitely playing it up for the camera a bit. But he was also extremely ambitious. And if you think, if you think that the stuff that Only pulled up at least at the very beginning, because they did ramp up during the end when I became inactive, and that
Hmm.
correlation is not a coincidence. I did pull up a lot of his plans entirely, and I did put like many sticks in his wheels and like pull the plans back a lot. He had some really, really big plans. He wanted to pretty much form like a shadow government of
I mean,
like
shadow
Suit or at
governments are
least
pretty
maybe the
cool.
entire Ravnia. Yeah, they're pretty cool, and I also had plans for that. I had 1.2, but it was a lot less malicious, of course. Of course. I've from many times I've thought about that. Maybe I should try and do like an evil arc, but I just realized that I can't fucking play an evil character. I physically cannot be evil. That sounds really self-aggrandizing, but like I've tried to be evil.
I
It's really
mean,
hard.
especially if you're really empathetic, like if you have like a lot of
Um,
empathy and you put yourself in like the place of others, and
mm,
you kind of feel what they feel, it makes sense that you wouldn't be able to do
maybe
that.
maybe it's empathy. Maybe it's empathy. Maybe it's pragma. Maybe it's
Hmm.
also pragmatism, or maybe it's just that the goals are that I think were best for Northern. We're just being more nice because what I wanted and what I still think and will be the keystones for Northern's success are good relations, good alliances, and overall just being a nice nation. But we also do need a deterrent, and right now I think joining the Suitor Alliance or whatever it is called uh, is the best choice, and always have been the best choice of joining like a non-aggression pact and all that. Like NAPs are probably the most signed pacts Northern has ever done. I signed them with everybody, even if we had absolutely zero relations. I was like, hey, you want to sign a non-aggression pact? And
So
I was like, okay.
I do have a question from the way you're saying after this war and stuff. Are you planning to join the UCS?
No, not the
Oh,
UCS,
okay,
but
gotcha.
the other sort of alliance. The current plans we will probably become protectorate for like a little while to
Mm-hmm.
ease, so that we can become part of the other alliance quicker. But it is just temporary, and I've got assurances from Geo and also von Bravian that it will just be temporary.
I see.
Yeah. Right now we're planning that a month of protectoracy would be the thing, and after that we would gain full independence. And I do plan on fully abdicating at the latest in December, hopefully a bit sooner.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Mhm.
I would love to check back in, see the state of Norththorn, but I mean, besides you and only 100 butting heads, and for the 4 months that you guys were still active, I mean that you were active while he was doing stuff. Was there
Mm.
anything that like really stood out, like any like key events or?
Uh, well, because Northern, after I lost like 80% of the territory to Andorn, I was like, okay, we need a good deterrent, so we need a good military, but we use it entirely for defensive purposes. So, and the way that I had methodology back with the old squad with like Buster and that. We had like 8 god sets. Like we had 8 really good sets of armor and all of that, and we had like 12 more planned. But Matt got really bored because he pretty much works only on those for like 2 months. So he got really stressed out and just left, and which wasn't good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
no,
pushed him a bit
grinding
too
does
hard.
that to people. Like grinding sets, it
Yeah,
really
yeah,
wears them
yeah.
out.
And I'm extremely lazy. I couldn't do that shit. So that's why I was pulling up in iron armor with the theremin. Yeah,
Yeah, I
also yeah, the
remember
theremin stuff.
back in like
They,
the
I don't know. Yeah, they hated me. They hate me for some reason.
back in the Bard Wars, I would stay up to like four a.m. with Emperor Cheese, and we'd be grinding like swords or armor for the battle the next day.
Yeah. I have never been in a battle apart from the Battle of Devastarok.
That's insane, Haggly. You need to roll
Yeah.
up to a war sometime. You know,
No.
just no,
No.
no,
No.
not
First
not
of all,
even
the
just to,
times they are at are always inconvenient for me. They are like
gotcha.
at the very early morning or in the midday, or they're at like 4 a.m. So no, thank you.
Or
That's
during,
the
or they're scheduled
that's a
during the
disadvantage.
podcast, right?
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have still I still wouldn't have joined that
You
because
still want enough? Oh my
you
god.
no, because if I were to join one side, it would still be like a diplomatic hassle for me because I'm trying to work out a settlement here.
Yeah,
So I still wouldn't have. Maybe I would like sipped on a bottle of rum on the outskirts, just watching it
just
unfold.
watch it unfold. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, whatever it is. But would you say that you basically covered everything that you can think of?
Let me think. Well, everything that I can remember, this podcast has probably been the most unorganized I've had. Like we just jumped around like, and again, it's a 3 year period, so everything
Hmm.
has probably not been entirely. Um, so I can't really remember much from that period either. Like there
So
are gaps. There are big gaps. Also
yeah,
because I've taken really long breaks.
before we go ahead and wrap it up, I want to ask you, what
Yeah.
was your favorite
Ask every
moment
question.
or wait, what's up?
Ask every single question. This is really fun.
um, what was your favorite event or moment that you've experienced in Norththorn? Just something that'll be cemented into your head. Was it the early days like you were talking about, or was there something else? more
Oh,
peculiar, like more
to be honest,
specific?
my least favorite period was probably uh when during the Northern Empire shit, when I had like a large area, because I was really anxious about it, because I knew I didn't have the people to justify having such a large share of the land in Siltor. So I was the most stressed during that period. And after Chemo actually took everything away, I felt quite relieved. Like I could finally it's off my shoulders. And but yeah, after that came my favorite period, when it was just like me and my small group of friends just doing random shenanigans for like 2.5 months. That's easily my favorite period. We had this massive potato farm inside the city walls, and we had this massive wheat farm that this one dude was building outside the walls. It was really fun.
So you
That's
guys were
probably my
just,
favorite time.
just farming, playing Minecraft,
Yeah, yeah, we were
talking
just
this shit.
playing Minecraft. I was doing diplomacy. I was the only like I've always been the head and the figurehead of
Yeah.
like diplomacy in Norththorn. So I did do some diplomacy. I signed some NAPs. I talked with like my mates what they think is best, and they were like they couldn't be bothered with it, so they just wanted to do their own shit. Uh, so I was basically in charge of the entire foreign policy and all that. It was really fun. After Only came in, we got a lot more players. It was an entirely different experience, because I have never really ruled over like that many people, and it's really hard to organize them. So that's why Northern also probably got this quite tribalistic form of government, where we don't really have a centralized government, because I wasn't entirely sure how I should run it,
Mm-hmm.
which of course proved to be a problem in the long run. So but now I hope that with the right people in charge, or at least, actually, that's the problem. We can't have the right people in charge, so we need the right system to make sure that this actual system works and is beneficial, so that the entire nation stays together.
Well,
Because
who
there are new
knows? Maybe
cultures that
something
have formed.
something will
Yeah,
happen between now and then. Stoneworks is very dynamic. Things
it
change.
is. It is. And that's the problem. No one system will forever work. So making a system that can fluctuate and change as the times change is paramount for Northern survival. Even if I am the best and the longest ruler in Northorn, or Sultor, or Rafnir, or in the entirety of Stoneworks, I still can't be here forever, and I don't want to be here forever.
Who does?
Yes.
All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, Hagley, for coming in
No,
here
thank
and
you.
informing us of all of your stories and histories of the Norththorn. Now, this is going to
Yes.
be part one. I am going to set up for a part two because there are a little bit of holes in details that you even said
Yes.
that there are
Yes. This
after
is the
only
most
100 took
unfinished.
over, and that's probably where I'm gonna fill those
Yeah.
in. And
This is the most incomplete history you've probably had. So you
well,
need to fill the incomplete history with some completion.
I mean, it is the complete incomplete history,
Yeah,
but
the complete
when it needs a part one and a part two, I mean, it's incomplete. So I'm gonna need to fix that. I'm gonna need to you know fill in the holes and figure out what exactly happened in Norththorn.
history.
All right, so I'm gonna go
Yeah,
ahead
sure.
and
If you can get
what's up?
only to join, if you can get only to join in the podcast, definitely ask him, because he probably has quite a lot of stories he would want to share.
You know what? For part two, I think I will reach out to Only to see if Only 100
Definitely,
would be
definitely.
interested in coming on and talking about his experiences. I know a lot of
Yeah,
people won't like that. I don't know if you know this,
yeah,
but
but
Only
history, yeah,
100.
history doesn't. I
I
know the
mean,
history,
history
but
doesn't discriminate. A lot of people don't like
yes,
Sieg, and I brought
entirely.
him on for Asharia. So
And yes, oh yeah, Sieg. Um, yeah,
he
but
said some very
oh yeah.
controversial and not very nice things,
But
but
if people would start asking me shit about like IRL projects, I would probably lose my
well,
reputation
good
too.
thing that we're stuck here
Yes,
in Stoneworks politics.
yes, yes,
So
and I wouldn't answer them anyway.
I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, Hagley,
Yeah,
for coming up here. And that's going to be it for today, guys. I appreciate the people in the chat who stuck around. Uh, Catman and Lubiano, you basically sat through the whole thing.
Mm.
Uh, Thank you for your dedication here. I'm going to go ahead and end off both the podcast and the video. I'm going to upload this. You can expect it to probably be uploaded within the week. And I'll see you
Nice.
guys next time.
Thank